What's up, guys? Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lanturn, bringing you guys our team builder here for week 2 of NCL's of Strika Season 10. We're taking on my good pal Luxans and his team Lux Nico's epic Pokemon team. His team consists of Greninja, Nidoking, Slowking, Arcanine, Mismagius, Tangela, Mega Mawile, Tornadus, Therian, Forretress, Greedent, and Hariyama. Priority options he's got is the Greninja with Shadow Sneak, Nidoking with Sucker Punch, Arcanine with Extreme Speed, Mega Mawile with Sucker Punch, and Hariyama with Bullet Punch. Hazard setting, he's got the Greninja with Spikes and Toxic Spikes, Nidoking with Rocks and Toxic Spikes, Mega Mawile with Rocks, Forretress with Rocks, Spikes, and Toxic Spikes. Removal options is just the Torn with Defog and Forretress with Spin. And the only 4x weakness on the team is Forretress to Fire. So I've over-prepped a lot for the Forretress. In terms of what I think he could bring, it could be anything. I've tried prepping like that against Lux before, and it doesn't work. This is one of those like mental boom matchups for me, where he's just a coach that I struggle with inherently because of his building style, his play style, and how well he reads me. So this is going to be a struggle bus either way. I'm not expecting to win this matchup. I usually don't, and that kind of pays off for me in seasons where I go ham. But I've built a fun team, which is something. It's a fun team that I think can win. Keeping in mind the Greninja is Protean. It can definitely be Protean. So he's got a lot of threats that I think are unwallable. I don't think that I can wall Nidoking, Greninja, Mega Mawile, Torn T. I just don't think that that's possible. I also don't think that he can wall Urshifu Single Strike at all. It kind of actually just bops through this team. There's nothing that wants to tank it. I also don't think that he has good Primarina answers. I think Primarina is another mon that just like shreds through his team. So it's going to be an interesting one because I think that both of us have like unwallable mons in the matchup. And so maybe it'll turn it like it almost looks like two different balanced teams against each other, but it might turn into just a gigantic hyper offensive game. Anyways, let's get started on my side here. I've got the Primarina. This is the first mon that I thought would be just fantastic. I was looking through and I'm like, I don't know that he has a good water resist. And it's Slowking and Tangela, which Slowking's fine. Tangela is not going to tank this at all. But Moonblast will just bop through everything there. The Moonblast resists are like Mega Mawile, Arcanine. Neither of those mons want to take Nidoking. None of those three and Forretress. None of those 4 mons want to take Specs water moves at all. So Moonblast is mostly a safe click if the Slowking is coming. Otherwise, I don't have to click Moonblast at all. I can really just click like Hydro Pump, Specs Pump over and over and over and over again. I have the flip turn there as well for some momentum. If I want to try and catch like Slowking coming in, I can easily get Regieleki in, for example, or Urshifu in, for example, which actually threatens a lot more than Regieleki. Yeah, so that's kind of what's going on there with Prim. I am speed creeping Max Speed Tangela, which is the weirdest creep ever, but there is a world where some mons aren't creeping Primarina properly. Lux likes to creep my creep, usually. So Primarina being max speed might throw him off with something, and if he is running a weird max speed Tangela set, then you know, props to him, and I'll speed tie it. So that is what's going on with Prim. Reuniclus, I'm just bringing an AV set here. Props to Mike, by the way, for looking over this team and adjusting my EVs to be more efficient EVs. Just an Assault Vest set. I think this can handle Nidoking fine. It's one of the things that can actually handle Nidoking. And I should maybe be able to handle Torn with this as well. Torn does get knockoff, of course, but you know, if I don't switch into a knockoff, then I can tank Hurricanes and whatnot. Psychic, Shadow Ball, knockoff, and Future Sight of my own. Psychic rails a ton of this team. Shadow Ball is necessary for the steel types. Knockoff to get rid of items on things like Tangela would be really cool. Getting rid of like an Arcanine item if it's switching in, or a Greninja item if it's switching in. All of those good things. And then Future Sight, which was originally Thunder, because I really just wanted to punish like the Slowking coming in, but Future Sight punishes more. So again, props to Mike for that one. Especially defensive with some special attack investment there to make sure that I get some KOs and a little bit of physical attack. Ooh, excuse me. Wouldn't be a me video without yawning, right? First thing in the morning. a little bit of physical attack just to make sure that Nock does a little bit more. Maybe bait him into thinking that I'm running a little bit more physical attack investment than I actually am. Urshifu is next. I'm running Scarf Urshifu. It's really the only option here for me against mons like Mismag, which can kill me with Dazzling Gleam, Torn, which can kill me with Hurricane, Greninja, which can kill me with like Low Kick or something, right? It can't kill me with Low Kick, but maybe like Hydro Pump, something along those lines, right? So I think Scarf's the only option there. He does have his own Trick Room mode, so I need to be wary of that, but Reuniclus should be fine in his Trick Room mode, so I don't think that he's going to bring Trick Room while I have Reuniclus on the team. It just doesn't make sense to me. Or Reuniclus and Palossand. Palossand actually just straight up kills Mega Ball while under Trick Room if I'm offensive, so... But yeah, Urshifu, Scarf with U-Turn, Wicked Blow, Close Combat, Fire Punch. Fire Punch is really just, like, seriously there for the Fortress. I mean, it's like only there for the Fortress if I really need it, and I don't want to get, like, Close Combat drops into a Gyro Ball kill or something like that, right? That's the only reason that I'm running Fire Punch. It's probably never going to be clicked. I'll probably be clicking Wicked Blow and Close Combat much more. Although Fire Punch in a pinch against Mawile might be the play. It really comes down to what is gonna play out, obviously, right? Because Close Combat can be walled by the Slowking or the Mismag, or the Torn. So Fire Punch is sort of like a neutral click into the Mismag or the Torn switching into that. I don't know if the Slowking is necessarily going to be the Urshifu switch in, but if he sees I'm blocking into Close Combat, definitely it will be. I'm running enough speed to outrun Arcanine. Oh, I'm outspeeding Nidoking. Never mind, I'm outspeeding Nidoking. I'm not bothering with Arcanine. Why? That was a strange decision. Whatever, I'm just going to run with it. Past me clearly was thinking about what he was doing, I guess. Max attack, a little bit of HP investment there. It would be a lot less if I was outrunning Arcanine. Hatred! Excuse me. Again, props to Mike for helping me make these EVs more efficient. I'm running Chople Berry Flame Body Heatran. This is a Mega Mawile answer. I should also check Arcanine, in a pinch at least. But I have Dark Pulse over Earth Power, so maybe it won't. I don't know. Toxic, Flamethrower, Taunt, and Dark Pulse. So Taunt is mainly for the Slowking, but it can also be for the Fortress. I'm not going to lead with this. I don't think there's a world where he ever leads with Fortress. It's just not his playstyle. I would really think that he was going to lead with something like Greninja, Nidoking, or Tornadus. I think one of those three is 100% leading against me. Toxic also helps against the Greedent and Taunt against the Greedent, so if he does end up bringing the Greedent for whatever reason, I mean, the Mon's not good, but if it does come, then I can check it. Yeah, I'm physically defensive. I've got enough speed on here for Adamant base 50, so I will outspeed Adamant Mega Mawile. If he's Jolly oh, actually, I'm outspeeding Jolly now. It was originally only enough for Adamant, but I'm outspeeding Jolly now. So, if he's max speed Mega Mawile, I'm going to outspeed it. Same goes for Hariyama. And that's what's going on with Heatran. Regieleki, I've got Boots Regieleki for all of the hazards. I mean, there's a ton of hazards on this team, right? It'll wear down Regieleki pretty quickly. Rapid Spin, Light Screen, Thunderbolt, and Hyper Beam. Rapid Spin to get rid of all of his hazards, because I'm not bringing removal anywhere else. Like, there's no Scyther or Beedrill, so Rapid Spin Regieleki will have to do. Excuse me, which is fine against anything not named Mismag, but Regieleki should be able to handle Mismag anyways. Light Screen buys me some turns against like Torn and Mismag and Nidoking. And then Hyper Beam is only there to hit the Nidoking. Realistically, I'm clicking Thunderbolt against everything else on the team, unless it's like Dig Greninja, right? So, I don't know. Maybe I should have run Reflect, but I think that Light Screen benefits me a little bit more. In terms of getting things like Prim in on a special attacker, Light Screen just makes it so that I probably get like another turn of that. Yeah, Transistor, Thunderbolt being modest max special attack should absolutely just like drop some mons like Torn and Slowking. Should just absolutely die to Thunderbolt. I don't even think that it's a roll, unless they're Rokon. Excuse me. Last but not least is Mortimer the Dreadingun here. I'm running Sheer Force Life Orb Dreadingun with Rocks, Flamethrower, Crunch, and Earthquake. So we did, Mike did some calcs for me, and Flamethrower does more to Mega Mawile and Fortress than Fire Punch does, I think. Sheer Force boosted. just because of their lower Spit F stats, and the Sheer Force boost still applies even though I'm running a negative nature. Yeah, Crunch is a really safe click against a lot of this team. It's like a great way to just break the Slowking if I need to. And Earthquake hits a lot of other stuff better. Sorry, Earthquake actually hits Mega Maw better. Flamethrower is only there for the Fortress, but it's also a fine click against a lot of things because I'm not going to take the recoil like I will with Earthquake. A Dragon move doesn't really do anything for me here. He doesn't have a Dragon to attack with a Dragon move. It's a neutral hit against a lot of things, but most of those things will drop to Earthquake and Crunch, respectively, so it's pretty good coverage here. I'm running enough speed on Dreading to outspeed Adamant base 50s, so if it's Adamant Mega Mawile, I'll outspeed it. I can outspeed Jolly anyways. Max attack, tiny little bit of HP there. In terms of what's not coming, let's go through that, I guess. Shaman is really weak to Arcanine, Mega Maw, Nidoking, and Torn. I didn't think that Shaman had a good matchup here at all. It's got like a niche defensive matchup against Greninja if I really wanted to, but Greninja is Protean, it's unpredictable what it could do. Palisand is another mon that I think could have been fine into Mega Mawile, but it's really bad into Greninja and Slowking. If the Slowking outspeeds me, obviously. And it's kind of taunt bait for mons like Torn. Torn can kind of come in on it relatively freely, unless I'm running like Poltergeist to just smack it when it comes in. Scyther. I don't think the Scyther has a great matchup here with Mega Maw and Fortress and Arcanine. If those weren't there, it would only be Torn standing in the way, and I think I could play around Torn being a problem. So I kind of like Scyther, but just there's a few mons here that just make me not want to bring Scyther. Mega Beedrill is another one where it probably should be coming here, but I really felt like these ones were better. Mega B can obviously, at the very least, it makes him run like a Scarf on something to outrun Mega B. Otherwise, it'll just outspeed his whole team. I mean, Regieleki already will. That's why I'm running no speed on Regieleki, because it just naturally outspeeds the whole team as is. Yeah, so Mega B. Excuse me. Could have been fine. There is double steal, but it's not the end of the world. I can just run Drill Run for Mega Maw and Arcanine, and then Fortress. Just like U-turn out on or something. It Gyro Ball threatens me, but then I can go into like Heatran or something on a Gyro Ball for free. And then Purugly. I mean, it's a Purugly, right? It's Purugly. Purugly actually could have been okay here, but the fact that there's two mons that outspeed it naturally, yeah, it's probably not the matchup for that sort of mon here. And that is it. So hopefully you guys enjoy the team builder here, all my thoughts and whatnot on where the team is going. And I'll catch you guys for the match against Lux and Nico's epic Pokemon team.